Hi guys, I'm here to show you guys how to set up UD today on a Mac. For those of you who are running Mac OS 10.4 or later, UD will be compatible with your system. So if you have Tiger, Leopard, or Snow Leopard, you're in good shape. One thing that you should know before we start is that DTELA is not set up to work outside of the UD network. So if you plan on, like if you live off campus or if you plan on running this from home, the only way that that's going to be possible is using the school's virtual private network, or VPN. If you want instructions on how to set that up, you can open your browser, go to udel.edu, and in this Google search here, search VPN. And then you want this link right here, using VPN at UD. And then this has directions for Windows users and Macintosh users. And that'll get you hooked into the UD network, even if you're off campus. So, get that running before you start, or if you're already on the UD network, you're in good shape. First thing we're going to do is we're going to download the DTELA software. So open up your browser, and you want to go to udarknet.com/DTELA. Once you're there, it's going to bring you to this page. You're going to see a DMG, an executable, which is for Windows, and a tar.gz, which is for Linux. Don't worry about those now. In case you're not running on a Mac, this is the Mac video, but we have a Windows video up, and Linux video should be out shortly. So check those out. Mac users, you want the DMG. So you want to download that, verifying, blah blah blah, and it's going to bring this cool thing up. So as you can see, our DTELA developers gave us a nice cool little interface to use here. So all you have to do is simply drag UDTELA right over to the applications folder, and you'll see it copy really quickly, and it should end up in your hard drive applications folder right there. So the first thing we're going to do is set UDTELA to run when we start up our system. The reason we want to do this is because if UDTELA is not set to run at startup, you're going to have to run it every single time you want to connect. You have to run it before you run your Direct Connect client. So in order to avoid that hassle, we're going to set it as startup. So once you're in System Prefs, you want to go to Accounts. Select what user, obviously, you know, whichever user you are. Click Login Items. You can see my iTunes helper is already set here. So all we want to do is add DTELA to this list. So you want to click the plus, and then in the Applications folder, scroll down to UDTELA and add. I'm also going to check the Hide button because I don't want to see it running. I don't want it popping up in my dock or giving me any notifications. It'll just run at startup, and I don't have to worry about it. You'll never see it, and it'll never bother you. Also, it's a very light program, so you don't have to worry about it slowing down your computer, because it won't. It barely uses up any RAM. So get out of System Prefs now, and now we're going to actually set up the Direct Connect client. We're going to use a program called Shakespeare. So you want to open up your browser, and I have the address saved for Shakespeare, but you can also Google search Shakespeare and it'll be the first thing that comes up. And whenever this decides to load, there we go. Alright, so we want to download the latest version. Let Safari do its thing again. And here we are. As you can see, the Shakespeare installation interface isn't quite as advanced as ours. So all you got to do is drag Shakespeare from here over to your applications folder. and when you hear that sound, that means it copied. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Shakespeare in my dock just to make life a little easier for us. Alright, so now when we start up Shakespeare, a couple things we have to take into account. First of all, before we do anything, since this is our first time, we're going to have to manually run UDTella because we haven't logged off and logged back on, so it hasn't started up with the startup items yet. So just go ahead and double click that. It'll give you this notice, click open, and you don't see anything running, but it's running in the background right now. So now we can mess around with Shakespeare. The first thing you want to do is go up to preferences. You want to set a username. Don't use your real name. Prefer to keep it so that people don't know who you are. So I'm just going to call this MacTutorial. And I cannot spell today. Alright, then we go into share. Alright, so here you have your download folder and your incomplete folder. This is where your downloads will go when you download from other users. I have it set to a desktop item, desktop folder right now. I have a Shakespeare folder on my desktop. I just did that because it's easy to find, so you know it's right there as soon as I'm done. But you can feel free to set that to whatever you want. Here is where you're going to add the folders that you want to share. So if you click the plus, it brings you to this. So if I want to share that Shakespeare folder, it's right on my desktop, and I'll just go ahead and open it. And as you can see, there's nothing in it, even though it said there was a couple things in it. So there's nothing to hash. If you add a bigger folder, obviously I have nothing in this, so it's not going to hash anything. But if you add, like say I add my iTunes music folder, it's going to start hashing immediately. I'm going to go ahead and stop that because I'm not actually trying to share anything right now. I'm just trying to show you guys. So, you know, go ahead and add all your folders there, and then, you know, it might take a little while to hash, but just leave your computer on for, depending upon how big your folders are, it could take up to an hour if you have a lot of stuff. But for most people, it shouldn't take more than 20 or 30 minutes. And that's only your first time. It's not going to do that every time it starts up. Also, upload slots, I believe the default is set to 3. I put it up to 100 just because I don't want to restrict the amount of people that can grab from me. So you could set that to whatever you feel like setting it to. And then rescan share is just going to, Shakespeare is just going to rescan all of these different folders and see if you changed anything, see if you added files, removed files, things of that sort. And it'll I have it set every 0.5 hours, so 30 minutes. You could set that to do, you know, pretty much whatever you want. I'm not sure what the default is, I don't really remember. But set that to rescan whenever you want. And then it's time to connect. So go to this bookmarks tab right here. I'm going to add a bookmark. Alright, so we're going to call this bookmark UDTella. Alright, your address is 127.0.0.1:7314. There is no password. It's going to use your nickname that you set before. And description, you could say whatever you want. I'll say Mac video guide. Encoding default, and I'm going to say connect at launch so that whenever I start up Shakespeare, it's going to automatically try to connect to this bookmark. That way you don't have to go and click it each time. It'll just make it easier. You can just click Shakespeare and you're on. So see, it pops up right here, and we're going to go ahead and double click it, and we are on. You can see your hubs list right here. This is DTella, and a couple things you'll notice when you log on. You can see we have 25 users right now, 1 with op status, and this is our total shared amount. Right now it's at 4.73 terabytes. That is everyone's collaborative amount. If I want to browse someone's folders, I can simply double click their name, they'll pop up over here by file list. You'll see it flash over here probably at first. And then if you want to check out their stuff, just click through the folders. You can either find a single file to download, or you can just like right-click a whole folder, download selected files. That'll take care of the entire folder. The other thing you can do is when you're in here, you can search anything. So if you want to search for a TV show, say, there you go. You just type it in, click enter, and it'll spit out all the different files that everyone has. So it's a pretty cool feature. Also, this is actually an IRC channel as well. You can connect with your IRC client. Even if you're not planning on sharing anything, you can come in here just to talk. If you're on Shakespeare, you can type right here. So I can say, hey everybody. And there it is. Everyone can see that and they can respond. And yeah, so if everyone's on, get a big chat going, and it's pretty fun. Some other things that you should know. If you're behind a router, you're going to have to forward some ports. If you don't know how to forward ports on your router, just go on YouTube. There's like a trillion videos that tell you how to do it. And all you're going to do for that is just go into Shakespeare Preferences, go to Network, figure out your local IP address. If you're on a Mac, you can open up your terminal, type ifconfig, and it'll spit this whole long line out. But as you can see right here, that is my local IP address that's assigned to this computer. So that's the address that I would want to forward to, which is what I put here. Ports, you want to forward 2 ports. One of them is going to be your Shakespeare port, and the other is going to be your dteleport. The way you set your dteleport is you're going to type right in this IRC window, !UDP space, and then whatever the port number. So if you want 5000, just type 5000. So then you're going to have to forward ports 5000 and 5001, like I had there, if you